How's it going, everyone? It's Mr. Cates. I'm here showing you a map of New York City. So this week so far, we've had a couple of activities that kind of looked at climate change and how it affects us on a global scale, and also how it affects kind of animals' different habitats, right? So we were kind of asking you to kind of take note of what kind of changes climate change can bring. But sometimes when you look at those types of sources, you may think, how does this impact me, right? Well, today we're going to try to look at that a little more clearly. So in front of us, we have New York City, and this is a tool that they have called the New York City Flood Hazard Mapper. So on the right here, we have the different years, right? So it's going to show us what flooding might look like in New York City from the past and into the future. So for today's activity, we want you to kind of take notice of what's happening and how this might affect your neighborhood, okay? So the first one I'm going to show you is an overview of the entire New York City area. So the first year is 2007, which is probably when most of you are only a few years old, right? So if we look at this, I click that button, it's going to show us a little bit of a layout of the flood areas, right? So I want you to take notice of this as we go through the years and into the future, and kind of think to yourself, how might this impact you and your neighborhood? So next I'll throw on 2015. Give you a few seconds to kind of take a look at this. Next, I'm going to go to the future floodplain 2020s, so the next decade. Next, we're going to look into the 2050s, around 30 years from now. Then we're going to fast forward another 30 years to the 2080s. And finally, we're going to go all the way to 2100. So we want you to kind of think about how might this have an impact on your neighborhood. So to even go in more detail, what I'm going to do is I'll zoom in on where our school is and what our neighborhood, right? So I'm going to go in and we're going to look. I'm going to go right to the school. So 900 Tinton Avenue in the Bronx. All right, and then I'll zoom out just a little bit. All right, so we have the South Bronx right here on the map. And let's see what it looked like in 2007. What it looked like a couple of years ago in 2015. What it could look like in 2020s. What it could look like in 2050s. What it could look like in 2080s. And what it could look like in 2100. So right here, that's the school, and this is the surrounding area. So from this, we want you to be able to answer the question, I think my neighborhood should be affected by climate change, and kind of explain from there.